All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to English 102. I'm Michael Overa. I'll be your instructor this quarter. This is our obligatory first day syllabus lecture, all that good stuff. And I know this is not the most exciting video, but please do watch it. There will be a syllabus quiz later this week, but I also just want to make sure that you know kind of what to expect this quarter, what my expectations are, so on and so forth. And with all of the video lectures, I do expect that you watch them all the way through so that you can let me know if you have any questions. So first things first, of course, you've signed up for an online class, so we won't have any in-person classes this quarter. We also won't have any required Zoom meetings. I find that they're very hard to sort of get everybody, a time that works for everybody and those things. So all of our learning will take place asynchronously, so you'll be working on your own time. So there's a mixture of video lectures and discussion boards that will essentially take the place of our in-class discussion. And I'll go into detail on some of those things in this video, and there are separate videos for things like the discussion board and how to approach that so that you can be successful. So first things first, because it is an online class, we need to be able to keep in touch if you have questions or concerns or anything like that as the quarter goes on. I do try and be really diligent about checking and responding to emails. Sometimes I can do it within a matter of minutes or within an hour, and sometimes there's a little bit of a delay. But I really do endeavor to respond within 24 hours to all student emails, unless it's a weekend. So my email is there at the top. I would suggest that you check your Shoreline email on a regular basis. You can also, if you have questions, you can come in and talk to me during office hours. So office hours are not in person, they'll be online. So you just send me an email and say, hey, I would like to meet you for a Zoom office hour. Here's when I'm available, and I will do my best to try and find a time that works for both of us. Note that I only respond to emails from official Shoreline email accounts. That's for security purposes. You can send me Canvas messages, but I really do prefer email. So while either one is a good way to, is okay for reaching me, I do prefer email. So Canvas, email, both fine. I get Canvas messages in email, but I do prefer email. So office hours, again, are TBD or to be determined. So just email me or check the syllabus, and I will try and update that as soon as I possibly can. Okay, so let's go into expectations a little bit. And I want to talk about what I expect of all of you, and both what you can and I feel you should expect of me as an instructor. And I feel like we don't always talk about these expectations, so kind of getting it all out, talking it through, making it clear, I think really helps everybody involved. So my expectations of students are that you watch all of the video lectures and complete all of the reading. It's there for a purpose. I take time to make these video lectures to figure out, what material you're going to need, what's important to you, what's helpful to you. So please do watch all of them. And the same with the reading. I try and curate a very good reading list that will be helpful for you. So number 2, I expect that you contribute regularly to the discussion boards. More on that later. That you complete all assignments to the best of your ability. I'm here to help. There are other campus resources like the Writing Learning Center, our studio, and the library, and things like that. So you should have lots of things to set you up for success. I do expect that you regularly check the Canvas website and that you ask questions if you have them. So please do. I welcome questions. I want you to ask questions because that's how you learn and how I can make sure that I'm being clear. So things that you can expect from me. Number 1, that I respond to emails in a timely fashion, that I contribute to discussion. So I will be contributing to some of the discussion boards, that I welcome a diversity of opinions and perspectives. I really feel that community college is fantastic in that people are coming to class with a wide range of different experiences, abilities, opinions, perspectives, and all of that really helps all of us push ourselves, our critical thinking further. Number 4, I grade objectively rather than subjectively, so I don't have to agree with you in order for you to get a good grade. I'm more interested in seeing what your thoughts are and how clearly you articulate them than, whether or not I happen to agree with your point of view. And then number 5, just like email, I will try my best to provide both clear and timely feedback. So generally, my goal is within 7 days of a due date, I try and get comments back to everybody, and I try and be super thorough on that so that you have a lot to work with. Now, in terms of the assignments that, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Well, we can talk about assignments too. Everything is organized into a module. So there is a module for each week, and everything that you need to be successful in that week is in that module. And so I expect that you're simply working through the modules rather than going to the calendar or something like that. Now, in terms of assignments, I break things into kind of minor assignments and major assignments. So minor assignments are like 5 to 15 points. Those are things like little interest area paragraphs, research question things that are generative assignments, as well as the reading quizzes and discussion boards. And then the major assignments, there are really 4, but the 3 that are the bulk of your assignments for the first part of the quarter will be the research project, the first draft of your research essay, and then the final draft. Now, the 4th one is a reflection letter, and we'll talk about that at the end of the quarter. There's no need to really worry about that right now. Now, in terms of assignment turn-in, so I have a template for each assignment. It has the points, the purpose, what you should be doing, some suggestions on how to approach it, and even a short video explanation. So please read the assignment all the way through, because a lot of the time I find that students miss points simply because they haven't read the assignment explanation. There are rubrics, explanations, examples, all of that stuff is there. And you'll be submitting all of those assignments through Canvas in a .doc or .docx file. And you can email me, but please do so only as necessary. That is, please email me assignments only as necessary. So if Canvas isn't working or something else goes sideways. Now, in terms of late assignments, retakes, things like that, late assignments, if you're within 24 hours of the due date, I grade it and then deduct 10%. So let's say you turned in your assignment on time. It was going to be 100%, but it was a day late. You got a 90%. If you are within 7 days of the deadline, the max you can get is half credit, and really after 7 days, it's going to be a 0. That is in the syllabus. So just know that there's sort of 3 possibilities there. Now, in terms of extensions, I know that life happens sometimes in a very major way. So please do let me know as soon as possible if you don't think that you're going to be able to make a deadline. If you can't give me 48 hours, so be it. Give me as much as you can. I will say that extensions are not granted for, hey, I've got a lot of work in another class. Plan to plan, okay? And just, try your best. For tests or quizzes, I don't really have any tests, but for quizzes, there are no retakes. The one exception to that is the syllabus quiz, in which you will be able to take it twice and the system will keep your highest grade. No resubmissions. So if you turn in an assignment and you don't get the grade that you like, make sure that you understand why and let me know, ask me questions why you got a lower grade than you expected. But I don't allow students to resubmit assignments or retake quizzes. And there are a variety of reasons for that. I would be happy to explain to you further if you're interested. Now, of course, there are weekly discussion boards. So real quick, you're going to respond to the main prompt by Wednesday of each week. It's 100 words minimum. You're going to include your word count at the end of your response, and it's going to be spelling, grammar checked, all that good stuff. And by Friday, you're going to respond to 2 of your peers in 50 words each. And there's a whole other video on that, so I won't go into too much detail here. So in terms of grading, a couple things to kind of bear in mind. I use a total point system, so grades aren't curved. They're not weighted or skewed any way other than just simply the point value. So it's simply like a video game. There are a total number of points possible and however many points you earn, and that basically becomes your grade. In that case, everybody in the class could feasibly get a 4.0. I am here to help you do that. If you really want to get a good grade in the class, do the reading, watch the videos, and email me with questions. I want you to succeed. I would love to give everybody a 4.0 if it was warranted, if that makes sense. So no ungrading. Again, I've kind of already covered this, but all of the information is there for you in each assignment description. In addition to that, I make comments in 3 places. One is on the rubric, one is on the little comments section, but the third one, and the one that a lot of students don't necessarily remember or think of or access, is that I will go in and highlight parts of sentences or paragraphs and give you specific inline comments and feedback. So make sure you're seeing all those comments. Now, extra credit, everybody loves extra credit, right? So there are 4 options for extra credit this quarter, and they all have their own due dates, and they can each be done once. So there are 2.5 points each, and if you miss the deadline, you miss the extra credit. So you can't wait until the end of the quarter to do these. And the reason for this is these are all things that will help your writing get better. And I want you to have access to them and use them. So the first one is a little grammar module. It's an online video with a quiz. The second one is visiting the Writing and Learning Studio, which you can do remotely. And the third one is office hours, or you can email me, more on that later, or you can work with a librarian. So if you do all 4 of those, that's 10 points. So that's 2 small assignments. So make sure that you're doing those things. They're really good options. Now, since we are a research-based class, we got to talk about a couple things about research and plagiarism. So we've got about 5 minutes left here in the video. Now, Wikipedia, of course, you know that there's this injunction against Wikipedia. That's primarily because reliability is questionable and academic writing really requires more vetting and kind of knowing that what we've got is really good quality information. Also, it's kind of the easy way out. Now, you can use Wikipedia in what we will talk about later as sort of passive or casual research, where it's kind of a good first stop. And you can also do what we call source mining, which is looking at the links cited on the bottom of a Wikipedia entry. So just kind of food for thought. There are plenty of hoaxes on Wikipedia that last for a long time. So a lot of the time people will say, yeah, they get caught pretty quickly. Well, some of these have lasted 12 or 6 years. And some of them are innocuous and just kind of jokes, but some of them could impact your grade. And of course, if I see you using a site and you're citing Wikipedia, I'm going to cry a little bit and then you're going to lose points. So there's that. Now, plagiarism, because you're going to be using a lot of different sources this quarter, please be aware that I do take plagiarism very seriously. It's something that I check for. And it breaks my heart every quarter when I catch people plagiarizing, because it has happened every quarter since I've been teaching for the past 6 years. So there are a couple ways that I check for it. One is this screenshot you see here, which is from a plagiarism checker that I use. And this is 82%. So this student was 82% similar. Their paper was 82% similar to a paper I found online. Generally, it's going to mean that you get a 0 on the assignment. And we will have a whole separate video lecture about plagiarism. So don't worry about it too much, because I will talk about it and give you tips on it before it really is something that you would possibly encounter. We're going to use MLA format this quarter. So if you're not sure what MLA, or Modern Language Association format, is, it's pretty basic. It's the format that we're going to be using for our papers in this class. It's the one favored by the English department and English departments across the country, as far as I know. And I will go into it more. So if you know what it is, fantastic. You're ahead of the curve. If you're like, I have no idea, I've never heard of it before, don't worry. We'll go into it. Last couple things, make sure that you're following my basic rules. So one of the things that kind of frustrated me when I was a student was that teachers seem to have these lists of things that they prefer we do or not do, but they never told us, and you always had to kind of stub your toe on a rule before you found out that it was there. So I've provided you with a list. Some of these will cost you points, but not all of them. So for example, number 1, don't try and write a hook. I don't want you to. I want you to just get into the paper. That's not going to cost you points though. Now, something like using first person or second person pronouns is probably going to cost you points depending on the assignment, things like that. So just kind of be aware. And if you have questions on those things, you want to know my rationale behind them, let me know. I'm happy to explain further. And then make sure that you're proofreading. I'm not one of those instructors that is really nitpicky when it comes to grammar, unless the grammar or whatever is the mechanics are getting in the way of you conveying your ideas clearly and efficiently. There are a lot of good grammar checkers out there. Some of them are free. Some of them cost a little bit of money. If you're not using one, use one. I use one. It's a great second set of sort of digital eyes to make sure that you're not making a silly mistake. I use it for everything. I use it for emails. I use it for comments on your papers. I use it for my own writing. So just make sure that in addition to that grammar checker, you're reading things out loud. In the 3 examples here, number 1, or A and C, are errors that grammar checker wouldn't have caught, whereas B should have been. So in A, when it says most imaginative way that human beings have ever procreated, I don't think that procreated is the word that they mean there, because that really goes to like sort of sexual reproduction, and that doesn't make sense in this context. And in the exhibit C, they say affluential comments when I think they meant influential, because affluence is having a lot of money. Whereas in B, it is was done. Most grammar checkers should catch the fact that there are 2 to be verbs back to back, that is and was. So again, proofreading should catch these 3, even if grammar checker doesn't. All right, so there you go. That's it for this little syllabus video. If you have questions, comments, concerns, jokes, memes, or recipes, please let me know. Otherwise, take a look at the syllabus. The syllabus quiz is open note, open book, no time limit, and you get 2 chances at it. So you should be good to go to get a 100% on that first quiz, and right out of the gate, your grade is going to look pretty good. All right, take care, and I'll talk to y'all later.